I'm really scared. I'm just scared that I'm not making the right decision and that I'm doing this completely on my own with my Jack Russell, and I am scared. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Silver and Sensational. You know me, it's the Lo, the I, Lois Mills saying thank you so much for tuning in and being supportive of our channel. And wow, am I glad that the Golden Bachelorette is over? You bet. But I will confess, I was having my nails done. And there was a magazine there with Joan Vassos on the cover. And her rules, she had, I don't remember, like 6 rules that I swear to you, she had nothing to do with in terms of having those rules. Because the only rules I saw Joan have is I need to feel safe and I like chalk. Chalk. Apparently the couple is still together. Wow, 2-3 months, imagine that. However, that part is over. No more Golden Bachelorette out of this mouth unless something big happens like a breakup or a wedding. So it all remains to be seen. In the meantime, I'm going to do a little catch up today on my journey of moving to Paris. It's been a while, and I want to bring everyone along with what I'm doing because, you all have been with me listening to what I've been doing this past year and getting ready to move, and the time is getting very close now, very close, and I am very nervous. But let me tell you where things are. And, for those of you who have asked, of course I'm going to continue this when in Paris. I mean, don't you want to come along and see what craziness I'm going to encounter? I mean, because sometimes, people say, oh, you're so brave. And I think either I'm brave or pretty stupid. But at any rate, let's get started. So what I'm going to talk about today, my friends, is the emotion I have been going through. There's so much to do because I'm literally giving up everything I have had in my life. So all my collections and everything, but I'm taking artwork and, not a lot of clothes because the closets are tiny there. I'm really not bringing any furniture because apartments are tiny there, or at least the apartment I'll be able to afford is going to be tiny there. And it's really a fresh start. And I have to tell you, I've experienced my first goodbye a week ago with the ladies in my book circle, with whom I have been with for 14 years. And, we're all getting up in age and we've lost a couple people. And one of the people I'm very fond of is not doing well. But saying goodbye to these extremely supportive and extremely intelligent women with whom I have so enjoyed our get togethers, our dinners, our book discussions, and just getting to be part of each other's lives. 14 years at a certain stage in life, you get a lot of loss, and we've been together through those losses. So I did get emotional, I will admit, and I think I'm going to be getting emotional a lot. But moving on from that, everyone that I encounter in terms of selling off my pieces in my house all say the same thing. Aren't you upset that you're giving this up? Doesn't this bother you to give this up? And I have to say, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. I am feeling a sense of relief that I'm not going to be burdened with stuff. I have been so fortunate. I have had dreams that I've been able to fulfill. And one of them was to create beautiful houses, which I have, and to have a beautiful wardrobe, which I've done. And now I'm at a point in my life where I just want just a few things. Basically, what I'm keeping are those things that have sentimentality for me. My father gave me this 57 years ago. I got this from my brother and sister-in-law when they were here. So these are the things that I am keeping. But to say that it's a relief is an understatement. In the end, once you get to a certain point in your life, and loss is part of what's gone on in your life, you find that the loss of people and the people you love is what hurts. Losing or getting rid of or selling or giving away stuff means nothing. I mean, I've had fun shopping for it, buying it, living with it, sharing it with friends, enjoying the beauty of whatever I've created. And it was all good. But it's time to move on. And one thing I'm going to speak out to, and I don't know if this would apply across the board to all of you there, because we're getting viewers really from their 40s on up. But one thing I can pass along as this pearl of wisdom, if you'll forgive me, is not to get so attached to things that they are what you use to identify you with. I know that for many of us, our careers were our identifiers. What would I remember when I was working and thinking, well, what will I do? And who will I be? And you know what? You move on and you have wonderful memories, but I am seeing so many people I know so stuck. And I mean stuck to the extent that it is costing them in emotion and in health and in finances. I just can't emphasize enough how if you don't let go, you can't accept anything new in your life. And I know how good it feels to be comfortable. And listen, I'm not going to tell you that this move is just a piece of cake for me, because it's not. I wake up during the night and picture myself on those streets in Paris, not knowing anyone. I think, what the hell am I doing? But I also know that I came to the conclusion about a year ago, after a few years of it, really all sort of started during COVID, when having been so isolated, and then during that time frame, and then once things did reopen, at least in Los Angeles, nothing was quite the same. Restaurants weren't open at lunchtime, prices skyrocketed, just crime and homelessness and the filth just seemed to get worse. And I realized that Los Angeles wasn't a place for me anymore. It doesn't mean I'm not putting Los Angeles down for all of you there. It's the place I wanted to live since I was 16 years old. And not only did I want to live here, but the first time I was in Los Angeles, I stayed at the Bel Air Hotel and walked up the street and said, "Oh my God, would I love to own a house here?" And, really 30 plus years later, I actually did. To this day, I cannot believe that I was able to live on that street, build my dream house, which was fashioned after the south of France. And it was a wonderful, wonderful time in my life. And I had great friends, and it was fun. It was great. And I had my dogs, and I had my family that would come and visit a lot. And, then people started dying and the dogs died. And expenses got so prohibitive, it didn't make sense for me to live there anymore. And so I've been adjusting over the past 9 years. And now, as I'm entering the 10th year since I have sold that property, I just feel my time in Los Angeles has come to an end because I can no longer enjoy it. Since Paris has always been a dream of mine, I have chosen to do this at this age, which I know is crazy. However, one of the things I can say is there are less than a handful of people who have cheered me on. Like, it's great that you're doing this. You're fulfilling a dream. Go enjoy it. If for some reason you don't, you can always come back. But that's very few people. It's really interesting how many people will give you such negativity about, well, listen, you're not going to be able to find an apartment where you want to live because it's very trendy. And no, that area is very expensive. And in addition, those are very old buildings. You'll never find a place with an elevator. You're not going to like the weather, and you're not, and you're not, and you're not. And, some of the people are actually just expressing their own fear as they can't imagine themselves doing it. So they're projecting their own fears on me, which I'm not accepting, but they are projecting that. Other people just like to, I guess, in a way, they feel that they know better because they have experience or they know somebody who knows somebody, whatever the reasons are. I'm using this particular move to Paris as an example, but I'm sure many of you there have encountered a lot of negative opinions that you don't ask for, by the way. I'm not there asking, do you think I'll like the weather? Of course, I'm not going to like the weather. I left Chicago 30 years ago because I didn't like the weather. It's the same weather. Fortunately, I have a lot of winter coats and raincoats. But point being, it's an interesting observation for me. It's in some ways, and maybe I'm just taking it this way, but in some ways, I almost hear them say, you must be stupid to think that you're going to like that weather. So let me say this. No, I don't know what it's like to live in Paris. Yes, I've taken an apartment for 6 weeks, and in those 6 weeks' time was acted like I lived in Paris, went to the boulangerie every morning, to the different places, and had hair done, had nails done, did all the things, went to the market, did all the things that I would do living in Los Angeles. Is it a different culture? Absolutely. I've been going there. Actually, it's about 50 years. I have worked there. I have had a love affair with the city from the very first time I arrived. And it was in the winter, and there was a dusting of snow, which, by the way, did happen last week, which is mind-boggling so early in the season. I think the snow came the same day that Notre Dame decided to test their bells, which I think they will start ringing December 8th. But I think it all happened in the same day. But go back some 50 years ago, and I'm in a taxi cab, and it's cold. It's February, and it's, as I say, just a dusting of snow. It's hardly a snowstorm. And I've got my head hanging out of the window of the back seat of the taxi, and my eyes are everywhere as I look at these gilded rooftops and thinking, oh my God, I can't bear it. I can't bear this beauty. This is just remarkable. And then as he drives by the Christian Dior store, I see in the snow are these beautiful pansies sticking their purple and yellow heads up. And I think, oh God, I am in love, and I have been in love ever since. And I don't find the French to be difficult. Au contraire, I find them to be remarkably responsive to people who have respect and regard for their customs and who really want to learn how to pronounce the word properly. I've never had issues, and I think it's because of that. So, moving along, I will say that I've been on an emotional roller coaster. I never like to use this platform to whine, so I hope it doesn't sound like I am whining, but I have been on a real emotional roller coaster. I'm not somebody who walks around saying I'm really stressed, I'm really stressed, but I keep lists and those lists don't seem to go anywhere and I see, and then all of a sudden I'll realize, "Oh my God, I need to sell my car and I don't have that on my list." Really? Now, really? I don't have a permanent date yet. I do have an appointment with the French visa people this week. I've already applied online. And if I tell you, I have been collecting documents and making copies up the kazoo. And it's the European way. They like a lot of paperwork. And I am terrified that if I don't have the right one, they're going to reject the application and I have to start this all over again. But anyway, that's happening this week. So for the 85th time, I keep adding more papers to my document piles. So that's my step. They are apparently looking for an apartment for me. But I must say, I have really been disappointed in how I have been handled by this firm in terms of being very, I want to say, dismissive. They've been very dismissive of me as I've asked on a repeated basis, if I want to go in January, shouldn't I be applying for a visa in October? And they kept saying, well, it's too early. It's too early. And then I realized that so much of the information they gave me isn't correct. No, I can't use that address, which they told me I did. So now I have to go scramble and get an Airbnb so I have an address for the visa people and I need to have a place to stay, which I wasn't expecting to have to do. And then the medical insurance that we need for 1 year, because it does take that long for a person to get into the system. Governmental bureaucracy is the reason. So the French government, and rightfully so, I don't have a problem with their wanting people coming in the country to at least show they are medically insured until such time as their own socialized medicine kicks in. Well, then I come to find out that not only do they not accept anyone over the age of 74, they also gave me a quote that was $4,000 higher than what I ended up finding that will take me at my age, same kind of coverage. They don't cover any pre-existing conditions, blah, 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 rata, rata, rata. So that's been very disappointing. And then being brushed off it by, well, you're going to have to open your mind to moving into another area. And that's when I said, that is absolutely not negotiable. Not negotiable. I am not moving in that area because it's trendy. I'm moving in that area because everything is so close within walking distance. And when I mean everything, I mean a street where this is the produce guy, this guy is selling rotisserie chickens, this one has seafood, this one has chocolates, and again, within walking distance, the oldest covered market that has absolutely everything, the cheesemonger, the bakery, plus you can eat there and it's all fresh and, in the French way. And actually, I have not lived too differently all these years in the sense that my main meal is lunchtime and I don't go to the market for once a week. I get food 2 to 3 times a week in smaller quantities because I'm alone and I don't want to waste things. And especially I don't want to waste food. I have a real problem throwing food away. But at any rate, this is why I want that area. I don't want to be getting on a bus or carrying bags for blocks at a time. So at any rate, all of this has been, a tad different than the rose-colored street I was led down, but I don't find that to be enough to discourage me because I am very persistent and I will badger away until I get what I believe is right for me. So, wow, it has been, what can I say? So I am planning on January, but It all depends on when they find a place for me to live. And I am trying to find a good way to take my little Jackie with on, what ends up being a really long trip because it's a 13-hour flight and 3 hours ahead of time at the airport. That's 16 hours for this child, my four-legged child, my four-legged darling Jack Russell. Whatever is best for her is what I will be doing. There we have it. And I thank you for joining me on this journey, and to all of you who have commented on my move to Paris. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really feel you've been trying to be helpful in your warnings. And what was so wonderful is even after you would say something that isn't positive, you always ended up wishing me good luck. And that makes me feel good. So I have very exciting news. For the month of December, we will be focusing strictly on the holiday. We're going to cover everything from gifts to family get-togethers to being single during the holidays, all kinds of things. So we're going to be coming to you 3 times a week for the month of December. And I am really looking forward to this, and I hope you join me. And so I will repeat it later, but if you haven't already, please be certain to hit the notification bell because we're going to be on a different schedule for the month, and I don't want you to miss a single episode. I want to know what you want me to talk about for the holiday, so be certain you include that in the comment box. Obviously, I'll still be working on France, so if you have any comments about that, please add them. And starting January, we're going to go full force on the actual move and all that it entails. And I'm really looking forward to bringing you along on this because I really need your support. I'm really scared. I'm just scared that I'm not making the right decision and that I'm doing this completely on my own with my Jack Russell, and I am scared. So I need your support, and I hope you will give it to me. Another bit of really exciting news, and this is a long time in coming for all of you. Today's program is our 100th episode. And because of your continued support, we have finally reached a monetization stage for this channel. And what this means is that if you wish to continue to support this channel, you can become a member and have access to bonus content, among other perks. If you have any questions, go down into our description box and click the link and see what it's all about, how to do it. Or you can email us at silverandsensational@gmail.com. Certainly not anything you must do, but I think you'll find the extra content and other access to what we're doing a lot of fun because we're going to make it fun. In the meantime, I thank you all for getting me to this 100th episode. A huge thanks to our producer and editor, Jessica Verdi, who has been incredible. She's as talented as any 3 people I've seen put together. And without her, this program would be dull and boring. So get over there and click that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and it's really important. Please subscribe. It helps us tremendously. Doesn't cost you anything. No one's going to bother you. Share us with your family and friends. There's link in our description box for our blog, which has taken off very well, which I'm very happy for. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all your support. Join me again soon. I wish you all well. Have a wonderful holiday this week. Bye now.